We are live.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the June 2021 Anime Twin Cities Board meeting. I'm Dave Vetrovec, and President. These are our board members, which you may know. Why don't you introduce yourself in case we have anybody new?
I am Tristan. I'm the former president, current sitting member at large, handling the streaming.
Hatora?
Muted.
Muted. Maybe we should go back because I think I got her when she was trying to settle in. I apologize for that.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Hi. Sorry, I was at a coffee shop and I had to because my internet or our AC broke down. It was like 95 degrees in our house. I'm Hotura, one of the board members at large. Hi. Sorry about that. Sorry about the background.
No problem. Allie?
Hi, I'm Allie. I'm newest board member at large.
Okay. And Kim?
Hi, I'm Kim. I am the treasurer.
And Troy?
I am Troy McDonald. I am the Anime Detour Coordinator.
Okay. So, again, welcome. Make sure you put your name in the chat and send the email in. That will be taken care of. So, because attendance to this meeting counts against your membership counts for your membership, not against next year. Okay, so we recapped off-cycle board actions and votes. To my knowledge, there was no actual off-cycle action. We did have a kind of email exchange for the picnic committee, but other than that, it's been as quiet as an empty field when it's 95 degrees out and the sun is high. So, now for those of you who are watching or anyone else that doesn't have complete board business, please let us know that if you want to address us. We'll wait a good 5 or 10 minutes for somebody to respond. Oh, while we're waiting, because you have to type, I believe, right? Yeah. What I told Tristan...
about a 10-15 second delay.
Okay. What I told Tristan when I logged on is I just purchased leased a 2020 RAV4. And so I am visiting my family out in the East Coast on the second week of August because my older brother, unfortunately, will be testing a submarine. He builds submarines for the Navy. And that's the only time I can go out in August, which means I will not be here for the August board meeting. Okay? I'm going to designate Tristan if you have any objection.
Usually it would default to Kim, as the treasurer is, in your absence, the vice president. But yes,
yeah, you're muted. We'll wait.
I said usually that those responsibilities would default to Kim in your absence, as the treasurer, per our bylaws, is the vice president in your absence. But yes, I can.
I'm sorry, I forgot that. Thank you for noting it. Kim, can you handle it, or would you rather have Tristan handle the meeting?
I can, but I'm not very good at it, as past experience proven. So if Tristan would like to, I would be most appreciative.
Tristan, can you do that for us?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any suggestions? Any business? I guess we'll wait another minute. Okay.
I think I took care of that, Echo.
Okay. Kim, did we get any equipment rental request?
We did not.
Okay. Coordinator updates. Troy, can you update us on Anime Detour?
I can. We'll have our first staff meeting back this Sunday, the 20th. So we'll be looking at the upcoming convention cycle and looking to plan for our first physical event after having canceled for 20 and 21. So we'll be looking at
Sure.
Yep.
I'm sorry, but did you say the 20th? I thought the meeting was this Saturday, the 12th.
Nope.
Okay, I guess I misread the email.
I'm with Kim on that. I thought it was the 12th also.
Well, I hope not, because none of us attended. Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, I thought I jumped ahead a week in
Oh.
time.
Nope, it is definitely on the calendar for Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
Good job, Kim.
Troy, aren't you glad we didn't do your review today?
Well, we'll see.
Yeah.
So it's
That's honest mistakes.
wait. So what is it? It's the 12th.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be this Saturday at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
Sorry, now you have to prepare a week faster.
Oh no, I was already prepared. Just, drop the dog off early. Anyway, still, what we'll be doing is planning for the upcoming cycle. Looking at obviously some of the ways to prepare for coming out of COVID, how that impacts things that obviously not just the things that we do, but what it is that we do, and how COVID has impacted that. So sort of what whether it be pop culture conventions or conventions in general, and some of the precautions that we'll still need to take coming out of COVID, and then some of the we'll be talking about some specific challenges that we were meeting before COVID, that we'll still be looking to meet and still be facing. So there'll be some challenges that we'll be asking staff, obviously particularly leadership, to meet with us in this convention cycle, whether it be staff recruitment, which is sort of always a lingering issue. So certainly not something new to us this cycle. But like I said, something that is always looming around. Some years we've had a full roster, or certain departments that were at a full complement, and others that needed help, and that can change department by department each year. So we'll be talking about all of those things. Help apparently a week earlier now. Thank you, Kim. So this Saturday, the 12th. Sorry, I was thinking of the dog's haircut. They are two very different things. Very high priority, both of them. The Hyatt should have our hotel contracts back to us this week for it's one contract comprising the 25 and 26 years. So yes, they should have that returned back to us this year. I checked in with them yesterday. That's essentially where we're at. The vice chairs are working through their department head one-to-one reviews. Pretty soon we'll be reaching back out to Kim to, I guess, sort of revisit. We had sort of established a baseline for a budget sort of timeline process on how we wanted to obviously engage with Kim, and then the process that we went through as a budget team, and then how we wanted to re-engage back out with that with the department heads, how we wanted that to look like. And then we didn't have a convention for 2 years. So we just want to take a look at that again, make sure we still like how that looks, as that will be coming up in the fall. I think that's about it. Like I said, we're kind of in the start of things. We've been spending the last few months doing admin things. Like I said, going over one-to-one reviews. We'll be looking at attempting to fill some of the leadership vacancies, and covering 3 or 4 primary focuses that will be, in addition to obviously putting on a convention for 2022, 4 pretty strong this working on simultaneously this this cycle. We'll be going over that with the staff this weekend, and then next month we'll have a department heads meeting. We'll be talking about that with them a little more in depth as well.
Okay.
Yes.
Sorry, Troy. I was just going to ask you a question. With the recent announcement that Convergence is actually going to go physical this year, that I would like your opinion on that. This pretty much encourages you that we're going to have a physical one in next March, correct? Well, I just want your opinion.
I mean, I was encouraged prior to that, so I don't know that it that didn't really sort of change my mind. A lot of other conventions, regionally or locally, nationally, were kind of moving forward. Those that were tail end of summer, beginning of fall. There were a few that had already sort of canceled months before. So unless there's some sort of sharp downturn on the negative, I'm leaning on the positive that through hopefully continued vaccination and continued relaxation of governmental restrictions, that things will continue to have an upside for us as far as gatherings and things like that. So I don't see anything currently to not be positive about. So hopefully, if that good fortune continues, I think we'll be in a good spot come spring. And some conventions are capping. If they did have a cap, they're capping their convention at a decreased amount to account for some of the current restrictions, or if they didn't have one, they are capping. As ours is, I have to do math, as ours is still in spring, we may not have to give that as strong a consideration for a few months, as we may still allow worldwide things to play out a little further before we have to start looking at that. I do think before, and have a meeting set up with the executive team, I do think before we open our registration, we have a number of other things that we have to discuss before we open our registration. I think we have to have answers, a number of answers in hand for our public before we open registration. Obviously, as soon as we open registration, there's going to be a influx of questions, and we should be able to responsibly answer a large number of them. Obviously, we can't account for all of them, but we should be able to answer a number of the ones that we're seeing within the community that other conventions are dealing with right now. Otherwise, it's just not going to be our best PR. So we need to have those discussions before we do open up registration, and then not have those answers.
Okay, thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions for AD Coordinator Troy? Anyone? Oh, I gotta check the chat. Gotta remember to do that. Nope. Okay, sorry. I'm the two-screen thing. Anyway, charities. Because I happen to take on a little more responsibility somehow for ATC, charities has been very inactive. I'm not planning to let that happen. Of course, we're going to try to recruit a charities coordinator in the future, but nothing's really happened at this time. And usually at the month after May, it doesn't. So we're done that. Tristan, yes.
Did you, in fact, though, get my email with the addresses I had for you?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
But I was trying to find everything else.
That's okay.
So,
I just wanted to make sure you got it.
No, I did receive it. It's on my list of due. I only have a 35 item list to do for ADATC. Okay. 35. Anyway, speaking of a busy person, Tristan, you are handling communities, communications, and SOS. Can I have your report?
At this point, it's the same as last couple of months. There hasn't been any new developments. Nobody's reached out. With the restrictions, there's really been nothing that can happen. So we're just kind of still in a holding pattern for a little bit yet.
Okay. May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay. So as communications, that includes our social media department, correct? For
Yes.
ATC. Has there been any incidents or has at least the social media? God, what is it asking? There's been nothing on there because I don't check social media as much as everybody else. Everything's fine on that front. There's no big to do that has to do with us.
Nope.
That doesn't make any.
Everything on there has been pretty good. I mean, really, the only times we really utilize most of our social media is during our events. Oh, sorry, hiccups. In the last year since COVID hit, there's really been, other than the virtual detour event and the board meetings, there hasn't really been any other events going on with which to create any posts or any other sort of traffic. So we really haven't been doing anything with things freeing up. With us looking at actually planning to do some events and stuff, then I expect things to tick up a little bit. But even when we were posting and doing things regularly on a monthly, if not even bi-weekly basis, we really didn't have much for traffic.
Thank you very much for answering my question. Does anybody else have a question for Master of all Trades, Tristan? Check the chat. Check the chat. Okay, nothing there. Okay, thank you, Tristan. Kim, finance. Do you have that? You still got that little thing? Can you share that on this projection? Tristan, can she share the sheet?
If I knew how.
On the bottom of the page, there is a little square with an arrow that says Present Now. If you have the spreadsheets open, you can click the Present Now and then select. It'll give you an option to choose from a window to share, and then you can select the spreadsheet.
Okay. Sorry, I've never done this. I didn't. If I would have known that that's how you wanted me to do it, I would have been a little bit more.
I apologize. Yes, Dad. I assumed. My dad had a nice saying about assuming, and I can't really repeat it because it starts with a body part. But sorry about that.
Let me do anything.
Okay. Anyway, okay. We'll get that next time. You can.
I can email it out, or I can send it to whoever wants to attach it to the.
Right.
Here, I can.
Minutes, or it went forward if somebody else knows how to share. I don't know.
Let me do.
Can you, Tristan? Since you're the host, can you do? Would you be the best one to do it? And this is.
Okay.
There we go.
And this is
the crowd can. The crowd can see what we got.
Thank you. Boy, you guys are lifesavers. All right. So, this spreadsheet is, if everybody was at the May 1st annual meeting, will look very familiar. It is now something that I will update every month, and we will make it available to the staff in general. What happened?
We're good. I'm presenting to you guys and had to pull up the page to share to everybody else. So there. Now everybody can see everything.
Actually, I can see your whole board, man.
Yeah, I see I don't know what I see, but okay.
It's the YouTube stats.
It's the streaming dashboard.
Oh, okay. Whatever she said, I don't know. I'm trying to buy a vacuum cleaner. Anyway.
However, and so this has been updated from the one that we presented in April to include all of the data through the month of May. I will still, again, as always, if anybody wants a physical copy of it, certainly you can email the board and I will send you a physical copy of it or email you a physical copy. And we can certainly have it attached to
there.
Yeah, it's really tiny. The board minutes and have it placed out on the website. So There shouldn't be anything different. It looks exactly the same, just a few little numbers moved here and there based on rent and mostly just monthly expenses that come out. So if anybody has questions on it, let me know and I'll look at that in a minute. Currently, the bank account sits at $161,237.48. So a little bit less than what you're seeing on this this spreadsheet, because of course we've had June rent come out, storage rent, and we've had a couple of IT expenses come out right away on the 1st and 2nd of each month. So the number doesn't quite coordinate it, but it's close. The education fund currently sits at $2,262.52. And the leg account currently sits at $12,999.06. Let's see here. Everybody or all the board members, you should have also, in addition to that spreadsheet, gotten the QuickBook reports. They're, again, very basic this month. Obviously, nothing major happening. You can note that I think our refunds for registrations have really died down. In the month of May, we had one person. So I believe June is the end for that. That will be when we close down any opportunity for refunds. And I do look at the Google spreadsheet that we have quite often. And in fact, there hasn't been anybody that's made a request since the middle of May. So I think we're in very good shape. And then as for income, the only item outside of the basic interest and some dues that were received for people who purchased memberships was the receipt of our Amazon Smile for the last quarter. That is everything I believe that I have for you tonight.
I have a few questions, if you don't mind, Kim.
Absolutely.
Okay. Does AD, Troy, that is, have access to, once at the end of June, and everybody who could ask for refund does he's going to have access to a list of people who have rolled it over till 2021 or two?
That would come from Alex. He'd probably have to ask Alex. She's the one that typically handled that spreadsheet.
Okay.
Ashley created it. And I think she could probably share it with him.
But no, I mean, so AD already has it. I was just double checking that they had that information. I was unaware if it was with you or with them. If it's with registration, then there's no problem. Right, Troy? You have that information? Okay. 2, I have totally lost my train of thought with the second question. So I'm going to go see, does anybody have any questions for Kim?
Tristan, you can probably stop sharing the screen now. Unless somebody has a question.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yes. Here's my second question. Can't believe it just flipped in my mind. Has all the hotel payments been made for 2021?
We won't have another one coming up for a couple of months. The next one that won't be due until August. The next payment's not due until like 3 months before the actual, or 6 months before the actual convention.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a pretty hefty one. It's $20,000. I will have the $3,000 payment probably in the next week or so, depending on when the Hyatt sends over those contracts or sends them back and sends me the bill for those contracts that were signed.
Okay. So they send us an actual bill, right?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They certify, and I just pay it online.
Okay. Well, then thank you for answering my questions, Kim.
Yeah, no problem.
Anybody else with questions for her? Let me check the chat. Okay. So, now usually is the tradition is a 15-minute break. Does anybody wish to take this 15-minute break? Even in you guys in chat. Sorry. You all in chat. Sorry, I'm from New Jersey. I see you guys as gender neutral, but that might be bad. So, you all in chat. Okay. God, I talk with my hands too much. Anyway, so if nobody wants to take the 15 minutes, we can go on to the next item on the board agenda, the 2021 picnic. We've had some, I got some responses. Thank you, Tora, Tristan, Troy. I got a lot of responses on Sunday. Unfortunately, due to work, I did not get a chance to look at them. But one thing I wish to discuss right now is, of course, the date. Now, I was thinking August because I didn't want to go outside in 95-degree weather. But you guys had said, well, we have Renaissance Fair and we have what is it? Convergence, and we have 2DCon, correct? Does anybody know when Minnesota Furs is? Or I mean, sorry, Minnesota Furs is the thing. What's it called? What's the con name? Anyway.
Furry migration?
Furry migration. Anybody know when that is? Okay. So are we, as a board, are we looking for the last weekend in July? Do you think that would be a good time to have it? The 29th and 30th? And you're allowed...
29th, that's a Thursday.
Huh? What?
July?
Oh, I clicked it one too many times. No, July 31st and 1st. July 31st, Saturday. Is that a good time to have this picnic if we're going to have it? Does anybody have any opinions?
Quick side note, I did look up furry migration. It's the middle of September.
Thank you, Tristan.
I think either in July or in August, regardless, it's going to be super, super hot. I mean, it's super hot right now, and usually August is the hottest. So, good luck.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the reason I wanted August, but people said no. There's a lot of people go to Ren Fair, and we don't want to exclude them. So, is the 30th a good time for everyone? I'm not familiar with Ren Fair. Is anybody in Ren Fair that starts? We know when that starts?
That would have been an Ashley question.
Okay. But Ashley could not make it here tonight due to personal and work reasons.
Yep,
So
I'm looking at the fest.
The first works okay.
Fest is August 20. Fest is every Saturday and Sunday, August 21st through October 3rd.
Okay, so now, of course, this doesn't mean we have to have it if we can't work out the problems with the logistics. But is everybody cool to having the ATC meet and greet picnic on July 30th? I'd like to make a motion to accept that date as the tentative date. Can I get a second?
31st,
The 31st.
because that's Saturday.
I keep looking at the damn... Sorry. Let me rephrase that motion. I make a motion that we have the picnic as tentative date as July 31st. Does anybody second that motion?
Somebody had a comment?
Doctor, did you say
Well,
something?
I was gonna say, like, you guys can. I mean, I'll help plan it and everything like that. I just can't be there, like, for August and July. That's all. Like,
Okay,
I'm more than happy to plan it.
and that's fine. I will be taking point on that because I really want to try to meet the membership and tell them what we're trying to do and stuff like that. So, but if you can't make it because you're busy, I'm perfectly understanding of that. But it won't pass unless someone seconds it.
I'll second it.
All right.
Okay, everyone in favor?
Well, technically,
So
this since this is not a policy or a bylaw or an amendment, it doesn't require a vote to pass. We can
Okay.
just,
Yeah.
we can just agree.
Okay. I've never been president before. I was vice president and that, during a long time, and I was treasurer. So, well,
That's
the
why I'm
tentative
here.
date, yes, that and to have that beard. Anyway, 0731. Okay. Now, I was looking at the board calendar. Thank you for providing that for me, Tristan. And we have some things coming up. Like for instance, usually, nope, that's the wrong screen. Nope, that's the wrong screen.
I will say one thing, Dave. That
Yeah.
was the calendar from a couple of
2018.
years back. We at around that time or shortly after we had resituated a few things in as far as when they were going to happen, just to kind of balance things out, so we didn't have such a massive hit of work.
I understand, and that's why we're going to be talking about here. If you don't mind, I would like just to go through a idea. The next thing we have to do is coordinator reviews, and that massive undertaking since we have so many coordinators to review. Right, Troy?
Right.
So I had looked for a standardized review form, process or procedure for the board to review coordinators. I could not find one. Does anybody know if we have one written down?
I think each president kind of just had their own process.
Okay.
Yeah, I know. Last year we were looking, the last 2 years we were looking at trying to create some sort of standardized format for us to follow.
Okay, but we don't have one. So here's my suggestion. Okay, we look for the board through email come up with a standardized procedure or process. This needs to be done by June 30th. Then, after we get this process, we have till July 7th to fill out the review for Troy, who's the only coordinator at this time. If we found a social media director, if we found a charities coordinator, like in the next month, they wouldn't be on the job long enough to be reviewed, at least. Correct? That's a reasonable explanation. So my idea is we have the process done by the 30th. Everybody, the board members gets their reviews in on the 7th. On July 13th, we go over verbally those reviews. Now, since we're going to create a process, it's my personal idea. There shouldn't be we should have our names on it. But we'll discover that in a process where I collect everyone in. And so we'll just I'll email my idea and then we can build on it, but we need to get it done by the 30th. Then everybody gets the review of Troy in by the 7th, and we go over it on the 13th. Is everybody cool with that?
Yes.
Troy, that's be fine for you?
I suppose, yeah.
Okay, then that's it. Next thing is board projects. Now board projects and coordinator goals. I don't know if we need to do coordinator goals this year, because Troy, isn't your goal like to put on a great convention?
Same every year. So
what exactly is a coordinator goal? I mean, we're not giving him a number to hit. We don't have anything that, we don't have, does the con run or not? If the con didn't run because he didn't do his job, he won't be there next year. But I mean, so what is coordinator goals is, do we really need to micromanage what he wants to do as a thing, or is it more of an aid for us? Go ahead. Sorry for talking over you, Tristan.
Oh, that's fine. Just to clarify, in the past, it has not necessarily been us dictating to them. It has been, in the past, at least as far as I'm aware of the intent, was that the coordinators establish goals for themselves, what they would like to do. Troy may have budgetary or staff goals, hit certain number of staff or eliminate certain number of staff by this point before con, things like that. Or SOS could have had, I want to do this many more events, or, maybe try 2 different events this year that we've never done, things like that. They've presented us goals with which they have set for themselves, that we could use that as kind of at least I have used that as a bit of a benchmark during the reviewing process.
Okay. Okay, and everybody's cool with getting something like that. I mean, that would be one way in which we could have a more. Did you do one last year, Troy?
Yes, he did.
Oh, okay, that's great, because that means when we get the review process done, all of us should get a copy of that, so we can review that, and so he knows that we're looking at it. So we just didn't make him do it for to jump through hoop. Okay, is there a format for this, or do we let the coordinators freehand?
So I guess it's, I mean, it's been freehand, but
Okay,
Yeah.
is everybody cool with that?
Yep.
Or do we want a process or a procedure or something like that? You can tell I'm big on processes. Okay, so tell you what, Troy, since basically you just need a deadline, unless of course we can you. Come on, you can smile. Thank you. Can we just have your goals be due by the August board meeting?
that's fine.
Okay. August board meeting. Okay, so it says on the calendar ATC review policies. I don't know if we need to schedule this. I think the board should see, if they see a policy that they want to, like our discussion beforehand. If a policy comes up, I think we don't need to have a month where we review it. I think if a board member or a member makes a suggestion to a board member or coordinator, we can put it on the next year's agenda. I don't know if we need a month for board policies.
Well, I know what we had done in the past, and looking through notes that we kind of guided it on was just to take that time for everybody to review and discuss the policies that do exist and see if any of them are at this point redundant, such as, let's say, if there was specifically a policy that said clubs is limited to 5 events per fiscal year. Well, at this point, clubs does not exist. Clubs and social media have been combined into communities, in a way. So something like that would be at this point a redundant policy that we could eliminate. That doesn't exist, but an example. So
Okay,
it's just kind of
so
been
you
an
want-
annual review.
So, but okay, perhaps we can. Does people still want to do that, or should we merge that with a board project? Like, say, and just coming out of the blue, Ashley and Natura say, we want to take a look at this year. Okay, but we wait for them to be done without putting it in the calendar, or did we want to have a specific date on the calendar that this should be done by?
Preferably have a date. Because the policies as a physical form did not exist until I created it 2 years ago.
Okay, so Hatora,
Yes.
Ali, what do you think? Do you want to have a specific date on this?
I don't think so.
Okay, Ali, do you know what? You're kind of new, so if you don't have an opinion, you're going, I'm cool right now. That's cool.
I think it wouldn't hurt to have a date for it, just so that we know that it's going to get done at some point during the year.
Okay, so
I know personally the reason I would prefer to have some sort of a date on it is historically as a board we like to kick the can.
okay, and that's pretty cool. So we'll do that. So here's my suggestion. Because August is going to be, I'm not going to be here, and September is budgets, September and October. How about we have it for the November board meeting?
I can work with
Is that fine? Okay, so in October, at the October board meeting, I will remind everyone, please take this month in your board duties to review the policies and procedures, and we'll have I'll have a better way of talking about it then. And on November, we'll take that month and do the review to see what we want to do. If we want to change the bylaws, if we want to have procedures, if we want to do something else. Okay, is everybody good with that?
Yes.
Cool. November. Sorry, I'm taking my own notes. October, remind. Okay, so we have another thing called board projects. Do we have any pending projects that I'm not aware of? Sorry, oh, you're just twisting your pen. You weren't holding it.
Sorry.
No, yo,
Okay.
go ahead. That's okay. I was just thought, oh, did you have a hand up? I didn't see it, and I should check the notes.
Oh.
Nope, nothing in the chat. So, do we have any pending board projects we need to do? We need to schedule. Okay, I was thinking not as hard as I should, but somewhat, and I couldn't think of anything right now. But again, I don't think we should have a month for board projects. I think we should, hey, here's a project I think we should do. Get volunteers and set a date to see when the project's ready. Okay?
Board project.
Because-
Hold on, sorry, I'm just mumbling out loud to myself there. Did not mean to interrupt. I may have a comment in a minute.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
So basically, you just want to start doing things as they come and not have a specific month for them because there might not be anything.
Yeah, that's that's my personal feeling. But if ever people say no, we get more done if we have say this is the month we determine what projects we have. I kind of think that.
So that was actually
I agree.
that was actually one of those things that we had kind of eliminated or moved around. In the past, we had there had just kind of been, you take it and then it's, people forget about it until it's brought up to the scheduled meeting. What had happened with the board members projects is if you look at the bottom of the meeting agenda, it's got the open board member projects and future meeting discussions. That was broken down into just right down there on the bottom so that we've got an update of who's doing what and when to expect it. So that we don't have to have a month, like a single month, where we go over everything, unless we really want to.
Okay, so to make this a little quick, because we're going a little bit over line, the charity meeting is always in May. That makes perfect sense. The approval of the AD budget is October. Troy, I did have a question about that. If we approve October, the meeting in October is the 12th. However, the fiscal year starts the 1st. You have a problem with the budget being approved on the 12th? Or is that going to cause a problem with those 12 days where you don't have an official budget?
Let me just let me get back to you on that. I want to see when our October meeting is. I don't think it'll be a problem, but
Sure. Then we can always move it up. Now, ATC's reception budget is August, where people put their budget in, and then we vote on it in August of September of this year. I'm going to keep that way because I don't think we're going to have that big a budget. I don't think we're going to have a lot of that discussions because of our general financial situation this year. Next year, whole different story.
Planning coordinators to do a budget, so
Okay, but
just the basic expenses.
right, basic expenses. We don't have coordinators. We may Troy's separate because
Correct.
when does Troy's budget get submitted? The end of September?
Well, that's usually worked out between Troy and I and his vice chairs.
Okay.
The board doesn't see it until that October meeting when you approve the budget, when Troy asks for how much to spend.
Okay.
and that should be fine because the board meeting is October 12th and our staff meeting is the 16th. So it wouldn't really, they wouldn't see it until after the board meeting anyway. So
okay, then that's good. Well, then that was everything on the list that we still do. Does anybody have anything that I didn't mention that should be scheduled? Okay, then. Thank you very much on that. Moving on. Oh, no, I closed that. Oh, I didn't close it. Okay, never mind. So, does anybody have any leads on either the secretary or a social media director? Okay.
Not at the moment.
Troy, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Who is your social media director for AD? Do you have one?
It's the executive team right now.
Okay.
Our vice chair is crafting we've basically separated that, I'd say temporarily, from marketing. Marketing is so large in scope that it's going to be easier for us right now to find someone to focus on our social media aspect of marketing than it is for us to find someone to market the entirety of Anime Detour. So we're crafting a vacancy call for the social media part of that to go up soon. Until then, basically, since just before the virtual convention, Tristan and Hotura and the executive team have been handling our social media stuff. So we're it's a little bit of putting the horse before the cart, but like I said, looking for someone to market the entirety of the convention is a little bit deeper than someone to handle our social media, which is kind of a mistake. I wouldn't say a mistake, but it is something when asking our social media person to market the entirety of the convention, we'd like to not ask that of someone else and overwhelm them. So,
and that leads to my second question. How much, okay, I am a technomedia Luddite. I don't know stuff. Please explain to me the workload between AD's social media and ATC social media. I mean, we had two different directors, so I assume there's a sizable difference in ATC from AD, or it's the same size or equally. I don't know.
I'd say that, you know, not dismissively, but I mean, Detour has it could depend on what your focus. I mean, I think ATC can have more focus. It depends on time of year and what you're trying to market. Obviously, Detour can have a time where it's, you know, pushing a lot more posts and things like that. Obviously, ATC has had not had the opportunity to push a number of its different social events with COVID because there weren't those events running. I think Tristan can also speak to a lot of it as he handled a lot of the ATC related stuff. Right now, ATC has been a lot of the, you know, board meeting stuff and things like that. But yeah, there's a number of different types of engagement. But yeah, I think by nature, AD does probably end up with more attempts at engagement than probably ATC will. I think that just sort of happens by the nature of things, you know, no matter what you're trying to do. But and that's not meant as a negative or a shot over the bow or anything.
No, of course not. Now, Tristan, you had your hand up.
Yes, I was actually just kind of bouncing off what Troy said there. As someone who has and still does a good amount of legwork between the two, AD and ATC, ATC when we've got events going, it's just a lot of posting. We don't get a lot of comment traffic on a lot of our pages. Detour, however, is quite the converse. Regardless of what we're posting, we get a lot of traffic on there, be it views. I know just in the last couple of weeks, we've gotten a handful of direct messages that we've had to handle, and we've done almost no posting since our virtual event. So while the Detour event or Detour aspect of their social media is significantly larger than ours, we were still in a space when we were doing events where we could have done monumentally more than what we were doing, because at that point we were kind of leaving it, since we had nobody, we were leaving it to the respective coordinators to be posting events and other details of their information, just because some of them had specific ways that they wanted them crafted that when handed off were not being met. Those are things that can be discussed and looked over. But yeah, there's all there with what. So even at our biggest, there was room to grow with what we were doing before we even hit the capacity of what Detour was doing.
So we're expecting to have a social media director for ATC and at least 2 assistants for that director? That would be optimal, or is that too small, or is that too big? If you give assistants, does it make the social media director pull their hair, collective hair out? I need some help here.
That I cannot give you a hard and fast yes or no on that. It would depend on how many events we're doing. If we are publishing and posting bi-weekly events, possibly. It also depends on the volume of interaction we're getting. If we're getting levels of interaction like Detour, where we make a post and we're getting 40, 50 comments, and we have to have somebody moderating those comments to ban people, we stuff like like for example, SOS has their own Discord chat. If we have to have somebody monitoring that again to make sure people get banned if they are doing inappropriate things in there, then at that point, yes, a team of, I would say, at least 3 to 4 people, no less than that, would be adequate.
Okay.
But if we're just making posts to inform people and we're not worried about those one-on-one interactions or the comments, 2 would be adequate to make that.
So I don't like volunteering people to do projects, but I need someone to help me, because if we're going to try to recruit a social media director and I'm going to talk to them, I want to talk to them with some level of knowledge more than the stupidity in my brain right now. Hopefully Tristan, you'll do this for me, and make a list of not all the social media aspects that we have. You mentioned SOS Discord, didn't know existed. So if you could take some time, or have Allie or Hatura or Ashley or John, when they get back, help you with that and give us a list. So when we go to a social media director and say, hey, we think you're pops. Here's what we'd expect you and your team to do. So they're not surprised where they say, I think I'm doing this, and I'm going this, because there's nothing that kills morale more than volunteering for something and realizing that it's 5 times the job that you volunteered for.
Yeah, that's kind of been the issue we've been having. It's ballooned every time we've tried it.
Can I impose upon you to recruit a team and make that list?
Absolutely.
So Tristan, you're being voluntold to do it.
Oh no,
well,
I can.
Hatura, if you want to do it, that's fine.
I'm kidding.
Let me put it to this way. You want to know right now, because I can tell you off the top of my head.
No, that's the details. We get that there.
Yeah.
And yes, I am kind of volunteering them, because if you asked me what TikTok was, I go, let me call my daughter in Pennsylvania. Because, so...
Or you can talk to me.
No
TikTok.
TikTok.
Of course, I talk to you.
No TikTok.
It's a sound a clock makes.
Okay, so TikTok is an app that basically lets you make a video of no longer than 59 seconds.
3 minutes.
And basically it's made for people with like ADHD, where it's like you're constantly pressing, constantly like playing a new video. And it's literally a horrible and a great thing. Like, it's great if you know how to utilize it, because people have gotten so famous. Events have gotten so many people for it. But it is also horrible due to cancel culture. Super, super horrible. Like, I did it for some of my art, and I've blown up, and I've also gotten backlash for, like, because they didn't know that I was the original creator. They just assumed that, like, I copied somebody else's work, which was, like, really weird. So TikTok is very, very cool, but very, very toxic at the same time.
Okay, good, because it sounds like
I don't recommend it.
I don't want anywhere near that. Because I don't want to be canceled. I haven't been canceled, surprisingly, and I don't want to be canceled anyway. But and I did mean to volunteer you. I'm sorry, Tristan. I'm imposing upon you, and I hope it's okay.
For being the babysitter, I get what I get.
Well, I hope not to be a baby for long. Thank you for insulting me.
And it's cool. I volunteer my husband all the time.
If I have any say, please never let us do TikToks. Never.
Okay. No TikToks. Okay.
Well, there is a way that you can do it safely.
Please
no.
Please
we're moving
no.
On. Moving on. Two more questions. One, official documents. All official documents, and correct me if I'm wrong, Tristan, all official documents should not be in people's personal rooms, right? Personal houses. They should be in the filing cabinet in the office. at GPS until if we're there at GPS or we're not.
Yes.
Like if I could go,
Yes
I
and no?
went into the office. I went into the office the other day because I got the chairman keys from John, and I went in the office, and it's a nightmare in there. It's a disaster area. It looks like my son's bedroom, and I'm gonna have to start cleaning it up. But I think that we should have all documentation. Not that you can't take some documentation home, but if I'm looking for the trademark papers or I'm looking for the returns, we should have at least the originals in this office. And if you want to take copies, that's fine. There's a copier in the GPS office. But is that not considered correct? If we have an office, all official documents should remain at most all times in that office, right?
That's been up for debate. I yes and no, depending on if if they're in use. That's a superfluous thing. But I know just the fact that there's no roof on that office was one big concern. So unless we I don't think we have a locking cabinet.
The black cabinet.
It does?
Black.
Okay. I never deal with those cabinets. I just get pens and stuff. So
Yeah, me neither. I don't have
yeah.
it here.
So as long as we've got a cabinet or something with which to secure our documents in, that is a reasonable assumption. Yeah, I would say.
Okay, so anybody who's on the board or something like, talk to Ashley. You have documents that need to be stored in the office. It's a black cabinet. I have a key. If we need more keys, we'll let me know. I am also going to take all the electronics that have been stacked in there and somehow fix that office. So when I start recruiting, especially at the picnic, we have someplace air conditioned because I sweat like a pig, and I don't like doing that. So I'd rather have a interview in a nice air conditioned office. Okay. One last thing.
Actually,
go ahead.
I was going to say that sounds like a good policy to me.
Cool. You mean not sweating or the all documents?
Both. But yeah, no. Right. We got to write it up, and we can probably just present it at the next board meeting. But having an official policy stating that we maintain at least at minimum a physical copy of all contracts, tax, financial forms, whatever we may choose, at our physical office in a secure container.
The only reason I talk to you is from experience. Back in 2000, I was a movie theater manager, a general manager in Delaware, and I had one of my hourly assistants who was 18. She wanted to do something, so I gave her HR. And so I came in one day, and the auditor from the home office comes in, and she goes, "Where's your I-9s and your applications and stuff?" I said, "In that drawer right there." And she opens the drawer. I checked, it's empty. And I went, and my assistant was trying to organize things. So she took everything home and left them in the trunk of her car. Now I got written up, but if it was the IRS or because it was W-9s, but I'm talking about any document, we would have been found $3,000 per thing. And since we had 53 workers, that's $15,000 or actually $150,000. So I don't know what the deal is. Maybe we should talk to Charlie, but I think it'd be a good process to have it in the office, especially since we have a lockdown.
Well, I wasn't saying like policy of like something we got to legally follow. I just mean I very fully agree with you. It's a good idea, but just because the board members change every year, that would be I would say that would be a good idea to just write up a quick policy for us to vote on at the next meeting, so that come next year when the board changes, they know that's something they're just like a little rule of thumb to follow.
Okay. So last but not least, and then we're going to go for questions from the audience. From the audience, Dave. Hi, audience. Everyone keep amazing work and much more. Okay. Thank you, Robert. As you know, it was explained to me by the board that I cannot, as both GPS treasurer and ATC president now, it would be a conflict of interest for me to negotiate with myself on a new contract with GPS if we're going to have one. So, and I've explained to GPS, and they've assigned someone to, I believe Ann's going to take it, but I got to double check that. But we should actually have someone who will negotiate with GPS. And so I'm looking for people to do this, because usually we sign the contract at the end of April, but we want to start now because, measure twice, cut once. Do we have any volunteers for that, or should we wait for John and Ashley if they want to see if they want to be this position, since I cannot do so? Or we could even have Kim there. We can volunteer. How many volunteer Kim? Voluntold Kim.
I don't mind doing it, being a part of it. I do not want to be the sole person
No.
there.
I'll throw my head in.
My term ends before the next contract goes into effect. So.
Okay. So Tristan, you're interested?
Yeah, I will be part of that team.
Okay. I'll check with. How about Tora? Allie, are you in? You good? No. Sure. Allie.
I'll
Allie can
jump in on that.
Okay, Allie and Tristan can help. Troy, I would ask you, except that you've got this thing coming up that we're going to run. So, do you really have the time?
I mean, there, check with Ashley and John. If they don't bite, I can lend some time, but I'll let them see what they say.
Okay, thank you very much. I just thought, I know it's even squeamish for me bringing it up, but GPS is expecting something in the future. So we want to, if we do, we want to get working on this now, because waiting last minute is rude. Waiting last minute is rude to us and rude to them. Okay, so is there any other topics I have forgotten or that somebody wanted to bring up?
I have one thing. It's nothing,
Yes.
but we all got that email the end of May, about a month ago, about our Google Voice, and it's gonna end on the 20th of June. I hope nobody cares if we don't have that service any longer, because we don't use it, and all we get is junk mail.
Yeah, the only thing that I can remember us in the 3 or 4 years I've been here, only thing I remember us ever getting is spam calls.
Yeah. We set it up because people wanted a phone number to attach to something, and
But at this point in the age of social media and business, we don't need we don't have a designated office that we are at on a regular enough basis for us to, I would think, warrant a singular phone number.
Yeah.
Okay,
I get a personal phone. I get enough ATC phone calls at my home. So.
Don't we need a business phone number for government forms and stuff, or is that?
They have my phone number.
Okay.
Usually
we don't have a business phone number.
No.
Okay.
In like with the trademark filings, they want the number of the person filing the paperwork.
Okay. So okay.
That becomes non-existent. I think it automatically ends. It will end on the 20th.
I'm perfectly cool with that. Everybody else? Anybody got an option?
I'm good.
Okay. Good. Okay. Let's see. Is there anything? We'll say a minute if you want. Do not do a TikTok. Kate's daughter. That's cool. Sorry. If you have any questions, I'll wait a minute in the chat, and then I think we're complete. But we'll motion to dismiss. But I want to give the chat people a minute. And if somebody else thinks of something right away, please let me know immediately.
I can show off my artwork during the meantime.
Sure, do it.
Okay. Yay. Oh wait, hold on. Let me work this first. Okay. I was working on a jellyfish. Galaxy Star jellyfish. That's all.
Oh,
And
very.
this. Oh, thank you. Yeah, and this is the artwork that got me on trouble on TikTok. For I don't know what reason.
Haters gonna hate. Hotora, haters gonna hate.
Tentacles.
Yeah. Well, apparently, so there's a whale. So there's another artist that did like a whale on the clouds, and they said that I copied her, and I was like, but I'm jellyfish in galaxies. So.
Okay. Well, thank you for showing us that. That was very, actually, that was really damn good. So,
I know I have
thank you.
artistic bone in my body.
I write. Anyway, so we're at the end. So I would like to make a motion to dismiss the June 2021 June Anime Twin Cities Board meeting.
I'll second.
If nobody has questions, bye.
Second, everybody votes, say aye.
Aye.
Yay.
Okay. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, if you have any questions or you're interested in doing more, please let us know. You can cut.
I'm gonna leave it up for a few more
Justin,
seconds just because
Justin,
of that.
I'm looking like an idiot.
You
Why
don't
are
look
you-
like
well,
an idiot.